Hi, this is Erica at Morrisson-Reeves Library with some more book recommendations for you. I'd like to talk today about one of my very favorite books and two books that are very close to that in my estimation. There's a French writer named François Mauriac who said, "If you would tell me the heart of a man, tell me not what he reads, but what he rereads." And this book, Diceys Song by Cynthia Voigt, is one that I've reread several times. It won the Newbery Medal, and I love it because it talks about some of the deepest things in human nature, about our love for each other and about how we handle death and how we handle moving on into life after someone we love very much has died. The main character is Dicey, and she has brought her younger brothers and sister halfway across the country in a book that comes before this one to find a grandmother that she's never met before because they've been left without any parents. And this book is about how she, as a 13-year-old, navigates school in a new place, trying to help her younger brothers and sister figure out their place in the world and in this new community, and also figure out their relationship with their grandmother. It's not the grandmother who dies in the course of the book, it's someone else. And the grandmother, whom Dicey and the other children call Gram, says to Dicey, "When you love someone, you have to let them go." And Dicey says, "But before you told me if you love someone, you have to hold on." And Gram says, "Yes, you have to do both." Dicey herself is a very fiercely strong and independent person. Her brother James is extremely intelligent and tries to deal with everything through thinking. Her sister Maybelle is a very gifted musician. She has a beautiful singing voice and loves to play the piano, but she really struggles with reading in school. And the youngest brother, Sammy, is somebody who really is very active physically and likes to make things and do things and be with people all the time. So the four of them together make a very interesting and varied family. And Gram has her own sadnesses and her own angers that she needs to work through that come from the time before Dicey and the rest of the family turned up unexpectedly on her doorstep. Another quite major character is Jeff, who's a young man who goes to Dicey's school. He's about a year or two older than she is, and he's really drawn to her independence and then eventually to her whole family and becomes kind of an honorary member of the Tillerman family. There are two other books that Morrisson-Reeves has by the same author that deal with the same characters in a way. This book, called A Solitary Blue, it also is about Jeff and his background, his childhood, and how he became the person that he is. This won a Newbery Honor Medal. Jeff's mother came from a fairly aristocratic family in Charleston, South Carolina. And his mother leaves him and his father on their own. And so his relationship with a very distant intellectual father who tries the best he can to take care of Jeff, but isn't able to be very close to him emotionally in many ways. And Jeff's relationship with his mother when he finally makes contact with her again and goes to visit her over the course of several summers shows how Jeff becomes the person he is, and also shows why he's so drawn to Dicey and her family, because he knows that Dicey will never lie to him about anything. the solitary blue refers to a solitary blue heron, because Dicey and her family and Jeff live on part of the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland. There's a lot of sense of place and a sense of closeness to nature and to the water in this book. And another book that's part of the Tillerman cycle is called 17 Against the Dealer. In this one, Dicey and Jeff are in their early 20s, and Maybelle and Sammy are in high school. So it shows these characters that you've come to know as younger people dealing with the beginning of adult life. Dicey is trying to start her own business. She's decided not to go to college, but instead to work on building and designing her own small boats. And she learns the hard way about some of what it's like to borrow money and start a business and be in competition with other people who maybe have a lot more capital than she has. It also shows how she and Jeff have to negotiate their relationship with each other, especially when she has been used to relying just on herself for so long, for most of her life. So especially for people who fall in love with the characters from Diceys Song and A Solitary Blue, it's a fascinating glimpse into their later life, which many readers of novels wish they could sometimes have. Know what happens after the end of the book. How do these people's lives turn out? Diceys Song is actually the second in the Tillerman cycle. The first one is called The Homecoming, and Morrisson-Reeves has that in ebook form, which you can download. It tells the story of the summer when Dicey helps her siblings across the country to find their grandmother with absolutely no financial resources, just having to rely on their own wits and sometimes the kindness of strangers. It's really worth reading too. Other resources that the library has by Cynthia Voigt are also in ebook form or audiobook form. They are books for younger readers. One of them has a squirrel as the main character, one has a field mouse, and a house mouse who gets into the big outside world and finds out that it's has a lot of beauties but also a lot of challenges and dangers. There's a book where two dogs are the main characters, and even one where a group of toys are the main characters. So those are for younger readers. And I have to admit, I am not familiar with them. I haven't read them even once, as opposed to the Tillerman books, which I've read multiple times. So give Cynthia Voigt a try, see what you think. Start with Diceys Song, and if you read it, maybe you might like to come in and talk to a librarian about it sometime. Tell us what you thought.